What's up, everybody? YouTube was trying to send me in raw today. We can't be having that. We cannot have any of that. As always, it is myself here, Andrew Esquire, in Seoul, South Korea, having a wonderful evening here. I know it's early for some of you, but I'm glad you're hanging out, and I'm glad you're back to the channel. Good to see everybody here in the chat. Nice, whether it's early if you're East Coast USA, maybe it's late if you're one of my my Asian brethren over here in the Orient, or if you're in Europe. I'm not sure what the fuck's going on over there. Does France still have a functioning government? Let me know. I'm not sure. But good to see everybody here in the chat today. It's been kind of crazy. So we're gonna check in on a lot of different topics today, and kind of roll around. Obviously, the big thing we're going to be talking about is Papa Trump. I haven't had a chance to opine on this, and yeah, I need my turn in on this. But it's good to see everybody here today, whether you're over here on YouTube, whether you're on Rumble, Locals, wherever you're being degenerate, that's good with you. Shout out to everybody who's over here on Rumble. I see Age Pearson upon the horizon. Good to see you over there. Holding down the Rumble for, and then the degens in Locals. The typical folks. Lele, we got over there. Danielle, we got Mick Longer Balls. We got over there. Boom. Gemma, good to see you over there on Locals. Early for some of you, the entire United States. Whoa! Don't leave out Guam or Hawaii. I mean, they're kind of in weird places. Alaska's kind of weird too, right? Brandon, how's it going, brother? Good to see you. Dragon's Treasure, is it time for guns yet? It's always time for guns. I mean, guns are a wonderful thing to enjoy. I'll just say. Benjamin says, I don't think France had a functioning government in at least 100 years. Since de Gaulle, right? I mean, since de Gaulle. Holy shit. Well, good to see you guys. How do you guys feel about, the occasional stream at this time, whether it's AM, PM, or whatever? Let me do a little quick poll. If you're not on YouTube, just let me know in the chat, and see who's here. Obviously, you guys are here, so this is a little bit of confirmation bias, but just checking in to see if you guys like it. If you don't like it, you're just here because, hey, you're bored or whatever else. Let me know. Let me know. A little bit before Legal Vices. I try to get in before my boy Legal Vices starts up, especially if he's doing trial coverage. But obviously later than my normal 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time slot. By the way, I am going to be doing a stream tomorrow, so I will have one 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'm kind of doing a double today. I'm doing like the AM Eastern and the PM. So I'll be doing both. This is one that honestly I didn't really anticipate. I wasn't as planned for. But we need to talk about it. Absolutely. And by the way, we're going to be going into Trump, DeSantis, Fauci, and all that stuff. All that stuff. Dina says for $9.99, be the man. Well, there's only one way to be. I mean, unless you want to be a they, in which case you can get bent. But yes, you should be the man. So appreciate that, Dina. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Welcome to Seoul if it's your first time here. I'm actually having a chance to meet up with somebody next week who's here. They're actually been in Korea for a while. We haven't had a chance to meet. So it's always good if you're ever in Seoul and you want to get a drink, grab some soju, let me know. Nick takes a break. Is Nick taking a break? I didn't know he was taking a break. I thought the man had a break in Vegas. I thought that's what that was supposed to be. Oh man, this is not good. So okay, let me share some stuff already here from Locals. This is just plain degenerate, and this is why I love Locals. So original cartoon, live action remake. Here, I'll hide myself here. Live action remake, original live action remake. Go on, Disney. I dare you to make a movie about a black man living in the jungle raised by apes. Oh boy. That one would not be looking good. Oh, Nick felt sick. Well, hopefully he feels better. I'll text him. In fact, I'll do that right now. I'll text Nick and say, Hope you feel better, buddy. So throw much love his way because he has been a homeboy. But I hope he feels better. All right. In the South, 5:45 Central here. Great to listen to Andrew while getting ready for the day. Awesome. Yeah, I'd like to get some like morning news. The radio is pretty woke nowadays, so might as well get what you can get. So let's start with something that's not woke by talking about Korea for a little bit. This is something that my friend passed me on Twitter, and I wanted to talk about it. I don't know this account, but somebody forwarded this to me. So, and I'll zoom in here. In Korea, there were 720 murders in 2020. Of the 720, 711 of these cases were prosecuted. The conviction rate, he said, now this person doesn't know this, but the conviction rate in Korea is over 90%. So of those 711, I guarantee you around 700 were actually convicted. So 720 murders, 711, and probably about 700 convicted. Compare this to the urban centers of the U.S., where solving less than half the murders is pretty common. Forget half the murders. If you even know about half the murders, if you even acknowledge them as murders and not accidents, absolutely insane. But I also say this: if you took out those urban cores, if you took out the center of New York, the center of Detroit, you took out Chirac, you just took a little stamp and you just boop, removed it, threw it away, it would be just as safe as Korea, especially if you took the rural areas and even aggregated all those. It'd be safe, if not safer. So that's a little bit on murder. By the way, I was watching last night. I had a chance to check in on the Zachariah Anderson case that Ozzy Overlord Hayden and Jeff were streaming Legal Vices. That seems to be a very interesting case. I'm actually a little bit regretful I didn't watch a little bit more of it. But the DA, who's, Binger's boss, the prosecutor, absolutely making shit up on closing, completely ridiculous. Whenever I check in or ask Jeff or anybody else who's been watching it, it's like, did you hear any evidence that was presented? No, complete BS. So there continue to be bad faith prosecutors, particularly prosecutors that have a left-wing bent, or if they're Soros appointed, that are our problem. And we're going to be getting into that today, the Soros appointed prosecutors. That's definitely something we're going to jump in. Someone said, you mean if you move the Democrat areas? Well, it's one and the same. But I will say this. I'll be honest, because I gotta call a spade here. If you look Republican versus Democrat, obviously that correlation is not going to line up in the Northeast, where you have these lily white Democratic neighborhoods, right? Where there's not a single POC to be found. Obviously, there's low crime in those neighborhoods, right? Think about Martha's Vineyard. What happened there? How quickly did those people get shipped out? It's the same thing. So you're going to see that, especially the urban Democratic centers. I'll agree with you there. Waiting on France to break out the guillotines again. It may happen. It may happen. Hang on. Over half the violent crime is perpetrated by 1/10 of the population. That is pretty insane. Yeah, it's all the NIMBY folks. They want the changes, but they don't want it in their backyard. They have the luxury of talking about immigration from Massachusetts, from Maryland. And that's the problem. My problem is the people that are in complete and utter hypocrisy. They've been doing things for years. And this is going to tie together with the Trump investigation. They've been doing things for years and doing them in ways that are illegal, doing them in ways that are absolutely unethical and getting away with it. But then they'll turn around and they'll point and they'll say, how dare you do this? They'll go and hire the lawn guy who they know damn well. Or they'll hire the guys for their business that they know damn well are not here legally. But they'll turn around and they'll raise all hell if there's any sort of thing going on regarding the border. It's crazy. Miami spring break. Oh, yeah. Is Miami spring break popping off right now? I completely forgot. Oh, shit. Well, guys, you got to understand. Okay. Let me just explain this as a Miami resident. Let me explain this to you guys right now. Okay. I am seeing that news. I gotta call my family. So they extended a curfew, state of emergency over the shootings. Things are apparently popping off. It's every single year on Miami Beach. In fact, let me look up. No. And it's not don't live in Miami. In fact, let's do this right now. I lived in Miami. I'm from Miami. You guys know that. So I'm going to tell you exactly where this is. We're going to pull up a little map here. Okay. I'm going to keep you guys out of trouble in Miami. Let's do this. Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this bad boy. All right. Here's my Miami 101. So this spring break is wild. Let me teach you guys what's up. Okay. So this is my Miami 101 for anybody who wants Miami 101. You can clip this. You can tab this. This is very important information. Okay. So obviously here is Miami, Florida, right? Now, you got to understand the borders up here with Broward County. Go any further than this, up here, right about north of Aventura here. This is going to be to the stadium here. The north part here is going to be Broward County, Hollywood. That's in Broward County. That's going to be extremely left, extremely liberal, right? Hialeah, for those who don't know, Hialeah, this is the highest level of Spanish as a first language in the United States. You want to go to somewhere where you need to speak Spanish, that's Hialeah. They will refuse you service in many places if you do not speak Spanish. All right. So the city of Miami, the fun fact, the city of Miami is actually kind of small. The city of Miami is really only this core area down here. Every other city is kind of like a little mini city. So Hialeah is its own city. Miami Beach, and we're going to talk about Miami Beach right now, is its own city. You got Coral Gables here, that's its own city. You got Pinecrest down here, that's its own city. So Pinecrest, rich people, large places to live. Most of the white folks that I knew, if they did live in Miami, they lived in this area. Let's see what else you got down here. We're getting towards Homestead, Palmetto Bay, Cutler Bay. This is the area that got fucked up by Hurricane Andrew, my namesake. Hurricane came in here, wiped this shit out, pretty much erased it. Down here is Homestead Base. You're picking fruit down here. Still Miami-Dade County, but a far away from Miami. Going from here, Miami, down to Homestead is about an hour in traffic. Right? Then out here, you got FIU. You know, the main public university there. And you got Kendall. This area is Kendall. Most people who live in Miami, if they're let's say they're Cuban or whatever else, they're probably living out here in Kendall. If you ask most people in Miami who live in Miami, who are from Miami, where they're from, and they're actually from Miami, not Broward County, they're probably from Kendall. Their family probably lives in Kendall. Now, if they are of the Venezuelan persuasion, they're going to be over here near the Trump National in Doral. Doral is called Little Caracas, Little Venezuela. So you want to pick up your Venezuelan hotties, you're going to head over here to Doral. You're not going to do it at Fuddruckers, I'll tell you that. But over here, you're going to get it in Doral. Right? Miami International Airport is one of the best airports in the world, not only because, hey, they got a lot of flights out there, but it's right in the middle of the city. Look at this. What other city has an airport right directly in the middle? It's pretty much equidistant from the beach, from Kendall, from down here, up here. You can get anywhere from Miami International. That's why it's one of the best located of all time. Can I raise the volume, please? Am I low? Am I coming in low? Am I coming in low? I didn't think I was coming in low. Shit. Let me double check here. I'll raise my volume a little bit. Here you go. You know what I'll do? I'll bring the mic closer too. So I'll go up. Let's go up 125. Well, let's go to 125%. Okay, so no. All right. Well, now we're getting a little bit hot. Okay, so let's talk about this craziness. There's a lot of places and islands off the coast of Florida, and in Miami, I want to talk about a couple in particular. So here's Key Biscayne. Now, it looks very close to Miami Beach. This is Miami Beach right here, particularly South Beach. We're going to get there in a second. But Key Biscayne, it looks close, completely different. Very nice beaches. If you ever want to go to a beach and you want like a place to go with your family, or a beach that's much more empty, not a lot of crazy people, come over here and go to Crandon Park. Go to these beaches. It's where the locals go. It's not as glamorous, but it's much more open. You're going to get much more area, much less crazy than Miami Beach. So, and also if you want to see where you can like stop and, where people would smoke pot and possibly bang in the car, it's over here on this island. This island called Hobie Island. There's a place you can park on this side of the island. You can totally smoke pot on this side or bang in your car or do whatever else you want. Don't ask me how I know. The north side used to be open, but they closed it, which is a shame because it had a great view of the city skyline. So if you actually switch over to the layers, this is the map view, but if you switch over here, right, this is the downtown. I used to live here in Brickell. Brickell is used to be kind of ghetto. Now it's kind of the nice area, kind of the commercial side of downtown. Now, if you're ever going downtown Miami, let me give you a little pro tip here. So what you want to do is, and I'll turn it back to this one. If you ever come to downtown Miami, stay between, and you're going out in Brickell, stay in this area. Do not go across this little river. This is the Miami River. Apparently there were Native Americans here. I still doubt it. I doubt it. Stay in this area. Up here is like Bum City. You really don't want to be hanging out in Bum City. Not gonna lie. North of the river. I know my mouse is glitching a little bit, but still stay out of Bum City. All right, so let's go over to where we're talking about. So here's the cruise island, right? Here's where all the rich people live on Star Island over here. And then these are Palm and Hibiscus Islands. These are rich people islands. Now let's move over. Oh yeah, you want to see the Mandarin Oriental? It's very near where I used to live. I used to live like right about here. Oh, here's my tailor, Jackson Maximus. They probably pop it up because I've been there 5 fucking million times. If you ever want to check out a good place to get a custom suit or custom clothing, a lot of my shirts I got from there, Jackson Maximus. Check them out. Awesome place. Great haircuts, nice people. Anyways, Nick stayed in the Mandarin Oriental over here in Miami. It's on a tip. I used to actually every single day when I was in Miami, I would walk around this island. So it was very close to where I used to live. Also, one of the best restaurants here, Komodo. Komodo, great Asian food, lovely Asian hoes that are the waitresses. Absolutely fantastic. Anyways, so here's where the shootings go down. And here's where you got to avoid. This is Miami Beach. Now, Miami Beach is big, right? Very big. This whole island is Miami Beach. The north part is where Joe's relatives are, really. So, like, if you want to hang out with people that are like Joe Neerman, then you're gonna want to stay on the north side of the island. That's where you're gonna get the temples. That's where you're gonna get the bagel places. That's on the north side of the island, right? Also, a lot of the famous hotels you may know, like the Fontainebleau, those are in like the center part of the island. So these, what they call it, mid-beach. So north, you're looking a little bit kosher. Middle, you got a lot of the big hotels like the Fontainebleau, which is famous from Goldfinger. And then you got South Beach. This is South Beach. It is the end of the island. Mangoes, yes, used to go there all the time, meet lovely Latinas. All of this has become ratchet as fuck. This is where you get shot, right? And I'm not saying that if you go there on a Tuesday at 3 p.m., you're going to get shot. Obviously not. But if you go there during spring break, this entire place, also during a week called Urban Week, and frankly, honestly, most weekends, it's gotten pretty fucking ghetto. It used to be nice, but now it is not good. So you definitely do not want to. My advice is do not come south of Lincoln Road. This is Lincoln Road. It's kind of one of these like walking streets. You guys ever check that out? Do not go south of Lincoln Road. That's my advice to you. If you're ever in Miami Beach, stay north of it. What you can do is there's a highway here. Just stay north of that. You don't want to come to South Beach. Stay the fuck out of South Beach. There's a couple exceptions where you can go, and I would recommend on a weekday. There's a couple exceptions. I'll give you the exceptions right now. Where the fuck is this place? Right here. Joe's Stone Crabs. This is a famous restaurant. Oh, do not reserve me a table. Do not reserve me a table. Joe's Stone Crabs right here. So if you want to check this place out, Joe's is an institution. Capone went there. Great place. So you can check that out. That's one place to eat. Honestly, I like it. If you like crab, like stone crab, check that out. Other than that, stay the fuck out. Stay the fuck out. Stay away. This is where people get shot. I just don't go. Dragon's Treasure, demographics won't work because nobody actually lives there. The people that are visiting are there. The people who live there, first of all, they're few. Second of all, they're mostly transients. I think what happens is, and this will help you guys out, this will save you a lot of time. A lot of people say, I want to move to South Beach, right? But what's the famous LeBron thing? I'm taking my talents to South Beach. So they move there. And then they realize it's a bunch of Tyroons, Pookies, and Ray Rays. And it's not what they bought into, especially people from the north, people who don't know any better. They move in. Transies. Yes, Legal Vice is transies. So the transies move in and they don't know any better and they freak the fuck out. Usually it's like, some ignorant white woman. She moves in. She's never lived outside of Massachusetts or Connecticut. Yes, I intentionally mispronounced that. She freaks out. She breaks her lease and moves. And the building keeps the money. So anyways, that's where all the shit's going down in Miami. There's lots of good parts of Miami. This is not one of them. One of the best parts of Miami, which you should always check out, is Little Havana. Check out Little Havana. It's fucking awesome. Particularly, they even popped it up for me right now. They know me, baby. Versailles. This is one of the most famous Cuban restaurants. If you want good Cuban food, let me go here again. Check out Versailles. It's an excellent Cuban restaurant in Miami. You will be absolutely safe because half the people there are packing anyways. Because these are the based Cubans and they like guns and capitalism. So check that place out if you want good, authentic Cuban food. This is Calle Ocho, 8th Street. You'll be fine there. No issues there. That's your Miami 101. All this time, I assume Joe's was on the water. It's near the water. It's not on the water. So that's your Miami 101. So I'll stay on the story about people getting killed and arrested as this thing updates. Hope you guys learned. 91% of you like the stream time. Okay, cool. Awesome. Got a $10 tip from TMF Squid on Locals who says, as much as I dislike the Missouri Attorney General for defending an extremely corrupt family court judge, at least he finally fired the St. Louis DA that quit prosecuting black people after a 17-year-old lost her legs to someone that should have been in prison. Oof. Big oof. And that's the issue is when they don't put people in prison. Somebody just made, sorry, this is shared, I think, by Squid. This is St. Louis. This is a map of St. Louis. This is fantastic. I love these. I'll do this for Miami. I'll tell you what, I'll post it up. I'll post this one up for you guys. I'll make one in Miami for you guys because I love you guys. I want you not to die. All right, so let's jump right into it with the Trump stuff. Let's jump right the fuck into it. All right. So here's what's going on. You've got a bunch of people freaking the fuck out about Trump's arrest. Now, let me be very clear right now. The left, and it's particularly the people with TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, they have, for the last 5 to 10 years, had a giant mega chub for arresting Donald Trump. They hate him so passionately. They believe he is a criminal, although they cannot point to a single actual law that the man has broken. And listen, with the amount of hatred towards Donald Trump, with the amount of vitriol towards this man, and the amount of years he's been around, even before this, even before he was president, all that time he was running for president, then before that, you think if one person really, really, really didn't like him, they'd be able to dig up some shit on Donald. But no, they have not. It's the Teflon Don. Haven't been able to touch him. And nothing convinces me of Trump's ultimate innocence more than the fact that they really have not been able to touch the Don at all. They've had so much time. He has been the most scrutinized president ever. If you looked at any other president as hard as you looked at Donald Trump, they would 100% be guilty of a crime. We're not even going to start with the Clintons, right? Barrio, come on. Biden, we're not even into Biden yet. Wait till this guy gets out of office and we find out more about what was going on. Hunter Biden's, the situation with Hunter Biden, we can't even talk about that on YouTube. Somebody was posting the Hunter Biden images today. Oh man, some of those were bad. But yet, even after all this, the thing I see coming out of leftist Twitter are images like this. This is what they want. They want to see this. They want to see this scene. And I want to be very clear and say this unambiguously. I can say this with no fear of being wrong. I know I am 100% right on this. And that is, this will never happen. This is never going to happen. People want to see him perp walked out. People want to see him with the handcuffs on. It's never going to happen. Yeah, the AI can't draw hands. Yeah, you see right there? The little stubby hand right there? Yeah, AI sucks with hands. They're never going to see him with the wrist bracelets, and not because his hands are small. They're never going to see him being shoved in the back of a police cruiser. That doesn't happen to people like that. It just simply doesn't. Even if they're arrested, they walk themselves into the police station. Yeah, the Secret Service wouldn't allow that to start with. Yes, correct. And we're going to talk about that. So I know this is old footage, right? This is not footage from today. Let me say this clearly for YouTube. This is not footage from today. This is not footage from yesterday. This is old footage. I believe it's over a year old. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This is before he ran for president the first time. Sorry. This is very old footage, right? But when he comes in the police station, it will look nothing like this. It's going to look nothing like this. It's going to look way more like this footage. Let's play this video.
you running? Go ahead. Do you have a question?
Spotlight's on me, I guess. Are you going to run again, Mr. President?
Oh, that's a tough question. Actually, for me, it's an easy question.
Okay.
So, I mean, I know what I'm going to do, but we're not supposed to be talking about it yet from the standpoint of campaign finance laws, which frankly are ridiculous. Okay, you want to know the truth, but we have to live with it. But I think you're going to be happy. Let me put it that way, okay? I think you're going to be very happy.
So it's going to look more like this, where he's in there, they're smiling, they're laughing, they're cracking jokes. They are not going to be there throwing him in a cell, beating him up, spitting on him. None of that's going to happen. So anybody who's sitting there fapping away at that can just go away. Like their opinion, just throw that out. That is their fantasy. It's not going to happen. By the way, we're going to be talking about him a little bit later. But our boy Anthony, our boy Tony Fauci, is also never going to see the inside of a jail cell. I'll tell you that too. I don't think he will. It would take a radical change for him. I think he's too institutionalized. He's got too many people protecting him. There's too many statutes in place. There's too many defenses. He's got too much plausible deniability. I don't think Fauci, even though it seems like he should, I don't think he will either. That's just me being realistic. If I got to be the realistic one, I'm going to be the realistic one. I mean, call the strike the strike. Krumnowitsky says this is scripted. Trump is scripted to be the savior antidote to woke. Only he'll bring in CBDCs and worse. Reason for him being arrested is to fool people into thinking he's not part of the club, that you ain't in either. Well, to be fair, none of us are in the clubs that he's in. Even if you don't think, by the way, over there in Australia, even if you don't think or don't like Trump, and you don't think he's part of a global cabal or he's, part of some larger plot, forget that. His level of money and his lifestyle is a lifestyle most people will not know. I will probably never know that. Most people will never know that. And certainly, most people will not live his life being handed an inordinate amount of money when he was young, making an insane amount of money with that initial deposit, and then becoming president of the United States and pretty much being a household name all across the world. Everybody knows who Donald Trump is. That's something that most people will never know. That's very, very true. Magician Sapphire says, I think it has more to do with keeping him out of 2024 than anything because they know he'll win. Well, I'll tell you one thing, and I'll say this right now. If they arrest Donald Trump, the numbers, the polling is pretty much ambiguous. It's going to help him. It's going to look like the entire system is out to get the guy. His numbers will go through the roof. It will validate the narrative and make everything he has been saying true. It will be the most stupid thing that the Democrats could do out there, period. So where does this all come from? Where does this all start at? I mean, you guys have probably heard the news, but this is just, this has been everywhere. It's been on Twitter, everywhere else. So we'll look at the Daily Mail article that talks about it. Before we get into the DeSantis spat and my take on that. But it pretty much came out that Donald Trump is expected to be indicted. Now, it does not appear that he was indicted yesterday, but he may be indicted today, right? Maybe. And the Secret Service plans for his surrender and appearance in New York next week. So let's be clear here, and this is important before we get into the conversation about DeSantis. It's an important predicate, is that he's not protesting this. He's not saying, fight this off. He's not saying Secret Service. If the New York cops come for me, I want you to gun them down. Right? That's not going to happen. Not saying that any of this is going to go down. So let's be very clear about that. And by the way, I guarantee you, he is going to be released. He will not sit in a jail cell, even if he was brought in, and even if the indictment comes through. Doesn't matter. He's not going to be sitting in a jail cell. He literally has Secret Service with him 24/7. It's not a thing. Flight risk is not a thing. So here's the article from the Daily Mail that kind of started it all. I think most people who are taking this story kind of got it from here. And that is, Trump will not be arraigned this week. Former president is expected to be indicted tomorrow, and Secret Service will make plans for his appearance in New York court next week. So there's already people who are in uniform. They're putting up the barricades. They're getting ready. You may have seen that. Here's him in West Palm Beach. He's in Florida. There's people who are protesting, wanting the DA to arrest Trump. By the way, this is once again a Soros-backed DA. Of course, you got his supporters over there, Trump Tower in Manhattan. So if he was indicted, if he was arraigned, he would come in, he would get fingerprinted, he would have a mugshot technically. And I think that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants that mugshot. Every news agency in the world wants the Trump mugshot. And I'm going to tell you right now, if they get it as far as that mugshot will be maybe not on Time magazine because they've gotten pretty woke, but it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be memed into oblivion. It's going to be posted on every wall. Left or right. It's going to go both ways. So the thing that really boggles me for this is that when I looked into the charges, and yeah, I've been really crazy here working over the last couple of days. So I know this was something that popped off a day or so ago. But looking into it, because I wanted to actually look into it and say, okay, what is this guy actually brought up on? What are the actual charges? It's not that he fucked Stormy Daniels, because here's the thing. If it was a prostitution charge, if it was some sort of like hush money payment, but it's not even the fact that he made her sign an NDA, because by the way, that's totally legal. You can bang somebody and say, I want you to sign an NDA not to tell anybody that I banged you. That's completely legal. It's not illegal at all whatsoever, unless, by the way, there's sexual assault or sexual harassment. Then Congress has passed a law which allows, in the case of sexual assault or sexual harassment, that you can break an NDA. That's completely separate. But if you just two consensual adults having sex, totally fine. So what's the actual charge? So when you look into it, the actual charge, and this blows my mind looking into this, is that he may have miscategorized it as a business expense related to the campaign. So it's all related to campaign funding. So, okay, did this go in the campaign fund? Are you kidding me? I mean, think about when you do your taxes, right? And especially if you do your taxes yourself. Sometimes you take an aggressive stance on your taxes. And you say, okay, well, this is something that was part business. It was part personal. By the way, consult a professional. I am not a tax professional. I'm not a finance professional. Consult somebody on your taxes, not me. But imagine you say, okay, this is a business expense. And the IRS turns around and says, we don't agree with you. What would they do? They would typically say, okay, so you said this was, it wasn't. Okay, maybe you got to pay a small fine. And the difference, you got to pay back the difference on the taxes on whatever it is and a fine, and you're good to go. This wouldn't be a thing. And the fucked up thing is, the American system was not meant to get us and throw us in jail on tax technicalities. First of all, the income tax is not even in the Constitution. The income tax is a modern creation, a modern instrument of graft, of government graft. It was not intended by the founders, and it was not present still for the majority of this country's history. And the other thing too is, and thank you for bringing this up. I see somebody brought this up in the chat. Why are we focused so much on who Stormy Daniels banged? By the way, it's this Stormy Daniels. She was banging a lot of people last time I checked. She was banging a lot of people. Why do we care about two consenting adults having sex? In fact, this is much more above board than Monica. But even that being said, even beyond that, why do we care about that when we still haven't found out the truth about Epstein? Why do we care about this at all? And the reason is because it's Trump and because people have TDS. And to bring this sort of charge is exactly the type of disparate treatment, of political prosecution that people in America are sick of. And by doing this, they may actually turn people on prosecutors. For once, people may actually pay attention to who their local DA is, because most people don't give a shit. They just see an ad on TV. They're like, well, that ad looked good. I agree with that. I'm going to vote for that guy. They don't pay attention to their local prosecutor, their local DA, even their local judges. Maybe people wake the fuck up and we clean up the court system. Maybe, just maybe. If anything, that'd be the only good thing we could have coming out of this, is clean up the system. I love the quote. Get them likes up, folks. RIP Kevin Samuels, RIP. But I will say we're at 756 and we're only at 274 likes. So if you guys could smash the like button, you don't have to like, you guys don't have to super chat or anything else. Just smash the like button is the thing that I really appreciate, whether you're on Rumble, Locals, anywhere else. That's it. That's all I ask. And Easy says right now, this Trump stuff is a great diversion tactic for a lot of serious world news, like China and Russia stuff. Watch the left hand while the right does something else. Oh, yeah. I'm over here on this side of the world. And here's the thing. Here's why I'm slow on stuff sometimes, because we're often talking about bigger issues. Like, oh, yeah, China just did some ridiculous shit in the South China Sea. And we're like, oh, never mind that. Oh, they just took this move, which may hint that they're invading Taiwan within the next couple of years. Oh, don't worry about that. Let's not pay attention to that. They're trying to, punish certain countries for not dealing with them. Oh no, let's ignore China. They're not a problem, right? Not a problem at all. Crazy stuff. RDS couldn't do anything to help Trump except maybe a few days of pointless delay, but RDS chose to frame it like he was choosing not to help dumb. We're going to watch the video. We're going to watch the full video of what DeSantis said and whether or not what he said was a direct attack on Donald Trump. We'll get to that. Marty Miguel says they're barricading because the loony left will riot when nothing happens to Trump. That's very true. They'll use any good excuse to riot. The members of the wrong BLM. But if you want to join the right BLM, remember a base legal mindset. It's the only BLM that gives you good perks. So look, that's my take on the charges as I see them right now. Obviously, as the indictment comes down, we'll review it. I'll stay on top of it. I'm going to stay on top of the story as there's actual updates. But right now, Trump is not in jail. He's living his best life. And there's nothing to stop right now. So right now, as of today, there is nothing for Ron DeSantis to stop as of today, just to be very clear. Now you can come out and make a statement, and that's different. We can talk about that. And I think that where Ron DeSantis fucked up is by not using it as an excuse to make a statement. That's where I think he fucked up. But let's get to this right now with the DeSantis side of this angle, of the Trump versus DeSantis. I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned here. For two individuals, by the way, that I think are pretty well liked. Look, this whole battle of Trump versus DeSantis, I think especially for me as a Floridian, I was in Florida during COVID. And I can tell you, even when I left, it was the best damn place to be. And that's why everybody moved there. And that was because of DeSantis. And I know that people try to take that credit away. It was because of DeSantis. You got to give that to the guy. Wasn't because anybody else, is because of him. And he had the balls to take the action first. Now, that being said, there's been a lot of fuck ups and been a lot of sleight of hand. And a lot of stuff he's doing and choosing to focus on is stuff that, well, it'd be better served if he worked with Trump. If he worked with Trump, not against Trump, with Trump. So let's get right into exactly what he said. And by the way, I've seen the clip of Robert Barnes on Alex Jones. So I think someone said I should watch Viva on Barnes. So I've heard Barnes' position on it. And, you know, obviously I respect Robert. I don't always agree with everything he says, but I respect him. And he does know, he does have an inside track, at least inside the circuit, and knowing a lot of folks. He has a lot of close connections. So certainly he knows what the in news is. I'll say that. But Britt says, in the modern era, Monica would have been a victim of a powerful man. He was her boss since he was president. However, Hillary called it a vast white ring conspiracy. Funny how her position changed in less than 30 years. Oh, yeah. If this happened today, imagine if Monica happened in the Me Too era. In the Me Too era, Monica would have been right up there with the people calling out Epstein. The photos of the Clintons and Epstein together would have been everywhere. He would have been Me Too'd out of office. There's no doubt about that. Zero doubt. He'd be done. Clinton and Monica today, he'd be finished. Caboose said, just got home from Florida, want to go back. Oh, yeah. It's an amazing state. A lot of damn good things down there. It's the one place I like to visit. Not just because it's home, because it's a great place to be. But let's watch this video and let's watch this clip. This is from the press conference. So this is the statement that people have a problem with. So I want to walk it through and say, okay, what exactly is the problem here? Let's call the balls and strikes and let's walk through this. So there's somebody asking a question. They're doing it very, very far away from the mic, so you can't really hear it. You'll be able to hear Ron, so don't worry about that.
So I've seen rumors swirl. I have not seen any facts yet, and so I don't know what's going to happen. But I do know this: the Manhattan District Attorney is a Soros-funded prosecutor, and so he, like other Soros-funded prosecutors, they weaponize their office to impose a political agenda on society at the expense of the rule of law and public safety. He has downgraded over 50% of the felonies to misdemeanors. He says he doesn't want to even have jail time for the vast majority of crimes. And what we've seen in Manhattan is we've seen the crime rate go up, and we've seen citizens become less safe. And so
let's turn that up a little.
This situation with, and look, I don't know what goes into paying.
Okay, so far, okay, let me just get what's the starting here. So the start was pretty good there. So at the start there, in case the volume was a little low, I think it was all right. But let me see if I can get it even higher. But what he starts out with there is talking about how the Soros-funded prosecutor in New York has fucked things up. And they have a political agenda. They fuck things up for New Yorkers. They're making it worse. These are all facts. So that part is actually purely factual. In terms of that, he's Soros-backed. He fucked New York up. You can ask New Yorkers, even people who are New Yorkers, often don't live in New York. So this part, accurate so far. Nothing he said is inaccurate. And to the extent that you can make this into a war on Soros prosecutors, that would be fantastic. So let's continue here.
Hush money to a porn star to secure silence over some type of alleged affair. I can't speak to that. But what I can speak to,
and I don't know, some people, if you're really sensitive, you might be like, oh, that's a dig. Well, I mean, Trump, here's the thing I like about Trump. And I actually I really like this about Trump. Trump's like, yeah, I bang porn stars. What? Like, who cares? Like, and whether or not, look, you can go the moral route. I don't think Trump, frankly, I don't think Trump gives a shit, to be completely honest. I really don't. And he shouldn't. And I think that's what makes him likable. Is he's like, yeah, I bang a porn star. What? You bang a porn star too. I think about him. Continue here.
is that if you have a prosecutor who is ignoring crimes happening every single day in his jurisdiction, and he chooses to go back many, many years ago to try to use something about porn star hush money payments, that's an example of pursuing a political agenda and weaponizing the office. And I think that that's fundamentally wrong. I also think it's important to point out.
So there, that's good as well. I think all that is good. We do need to go against people that are prosecuting people for political prosecutions. That's perfectly fine as well. That's totally, that part is good.
Talking about these Soros-funded prosecutors, yes, they may do a high-profile politicized prosecution, and that's bad. But the real victims are ordinary New Yorkers, ordinary Americans in all these different jurisdictions, that they get victimized every day because of the reckless political agenda that these Soros DAs bring to their job. They ignore crime and they empower criminals, and that hurts people. Hurts a lot of people every single
Still
day.
Facts. This is all
These
factual
Soros
still.
District attorneys are a menace to society.
A menace to society. I like
The
that.
only governor in the country that's actually.
So they're drinking gin and juice on the South Side, right? And what's up, everybody who's checking in the chat? Good to see everybody here.
Removed one from office during my tenure. And in terms of we are not involved in this, won't be involved in this. I have no interest in getting involved in some type of manufactured circus by some Soros DA, okay? He's trying to do a political spectacle. He's trying to virtue signal for his base. I've got real issues I got to deal with here in the state of Florida. We're obviously.
Okay, so here's where I think he loses it. This is the point where I think he loses it, where he says, I've got real issues. I'm going to rewind this a little bit because this is where I think that Ron goes astray. I think he didn't, this ending is not how he should have ended here. He should have taken this a different way. So let me just rewind it a little bit and then play this part out again.
Not involved in this, won't be involved in this. I have no interest in getting involved in some type of manufactured circus by some Soros DA, okay? He's trying to do a political spectacle. He's trying to virtue signal for his base. I've got real issues I got to deal with here in the state of Florida. We're obviously shutting down CBDC, which is important. We've got so many things pending in front of the legislature. I've got to spend my time on issues that actually matter to people. I can't spend my time worrying about things of that nature. So we're not going to be involved in it anyway.
Okay, so they're not going to be involved in it in any way. That's the comment that he said right there, right? Okay, so let's look at that. Is that true? Is that true? Is that a factual statement? I would say yes. I would say that is a factual statement that they don't have to be involved in the process at all. And so far, it seems like Florida and Florida law enforcement is completely uninvolved, right? It's the Secret Service communicating in New York. Doesn't seem like Florida's getting involved at all. So that part seems factual. However, a couple problems with his train of thinking. Number one, let's talk about central bank digital currencies real quick. How the fuck is Florida going to be able to do anything about CBDCs without federal level support? Florida is going to be preempted all over the place. if they try to do anything on CBDCs. So trying to say, okay, we're going to do CBDCs. No, here's what you say. You say we've got to clean things up at all levels in the prosecutor's office, the DA. We've got to clean those up, local level. We've got to clean up the state government, and we've got to clean up the federal government, including the bankers that are allowing bank bailouts while enabling CBDCs that are going to spy into every point in your life. And that's why we need to work together. We need to back up Donald Trump. That's how he should have done that. He should have said, I'm with Trump here. To do anything else was really stupid, and I'm not sure where he was going with that other than to undercut for the purpose of a primary, which I think is kind of foolish. I think unjust prosecution is something that everybody should speak up for and say, no, it's not right, and we don't tolerate that here in Florida. And if Donald Trump needs any help, I got his back. See, if he said that, that would have been entirely different. That would have been entirely different. Because we do need to stop unjust prosecution. We see it all the time. Anybody who's watching the Anderson case, you see the unjust prosecution. Dapper Dave 2021 says, what's stopping the USAO in a red state from investigating charging Bragg for a possible federal crime? If they find one he's violated, there's nothing stopping them from doing that. If they find one he's actually violated. Now, I'm not for tit for tat criminal prosecution. But if they find actual crimes these people are committing, yes, charge them with real crimes. But let's not make up fake crimes or vague shit like taxes to come after people on. The best thing would be if they teamed up together and were like, yo, fuck the income tax. Guess what state doesn't have the income tax? Florida. Florida is a state with no income tax. This is exactly why they can make that point and say both the state and the federal level, let's get rid of the income tax. They wasted an opportunity. Ron DeSantis was an idiot for wasting that opportunity. It's not his problem. It's a problem for everybody in the country. So that's where DeSantis fucked up. It's maybe not a Florida law enforcement problem, and maybe he could have said that better. I think at minimum he could have said that better. But he should have spun it. He should have jujitsu'd it. Unfortunately, he didn't do that. And that's what we got. Kunowitsky says, politics in the USA, Hegelian dialectic in action. Billionaires use blue and red in a tag team effort to bring in communism. The populace are so brainwashed they believe their team couldn't possibly be evil too. Yeah, the issue is, and I will agree with you right now, is that, and we do see this, is that both on the left and the right, there are the Crenshaws, right? There are the McConnells. They team up with the Pelosi's, with the AOCs. There's an alliance here. Now it's become, we can actually think the last couple of years because it's become obvious when all of these Republican politicians bent the knee to Fauci's bullshit. And we're going to get into Fauci's bullshit in a bit right now. We may actually have to go to Rumble for it. If we get in trouble on YouTube, we're going to Rumble. And we're up on Rumble always. So shout out to my people over there. By the way, on Rumble, they say DeSantis group addressed what he meant, and they said that they would not allow him to be extradited, which he does not even have the authority to do. Well, extradition is supposed to be pretty pro forma. It's supposed to be pretty normal, right? Now, I've said in the past, we have not had in modern history a real conflict over extradition where one state has said, nah, we're not extraditing this person. That has not happened yet. But I think if there's anywhere where this is going to happen, listen up right now. I'm calling this. Political prosecution by Soros-backed, by extreme left-wing politicians is going to be exactly where we finally see a governor get the balls to say, fuck you, I'm not extraditing this person. That's the fight that is coming very soon. It's coming within the, I don't even think the next 5 years. I'm going to say the next 2 years. We are going to have a situation where we have a state. It might be a Florida. It might be a Texas. It might be, who knows? Oklahoma, who knows? We have a red state, and they're going to say F you to a blue state, and it's going to cause a kick up. That's going to be the real pushback. In a big case, not a small one, not a minor one, and not because of costs, right? Not because they can't pay, because they don't agree with the law. And it's a big case, not a small case, a big case. We're talking like a politician or somebody, a big business person, like an Elon Musk situation. Imagine if California tries to get Musk. That's the sort of situation that's going to really tip the point. It's got to be a big figure. It's got to actually pop off. If it's some like random like guy, yes, that matters for day to day, but it's got to be something that starts a conversation. It's going to happen. They try to extradite Joe Rogan back to California. So let's go over to Fauci, shall we? So I don't know if you guys have seen the video, but this is the guy who really should be in jail. Particularly for repeatedly lying to Congress about what he knew and didn't know. And this little piece is a two-minute video of Fauci and DC Mayor Muriel Bowser going door to door. But I wanted to make sure to play this today to get this in here. Because this is the real thing and the real type of thing we should be getting together, whether you're team Trump or team DeSantis. By the way, I think it's bullshit because it distracts from stuff like this. And anybody who falls for that, whether that's DeSantis himself or Trump himself, instead of saying, look, we have so many issues we agree on right now. We have so many issues we're on the same. How are we forgetting about Rona? How are we forgetting about this? This is the thing we got to pay attention to. Also, guys, another thing to pay attention to, please pay attention to your subs. YouTube is automatically unsubbing people again. So make sure you're subbed. We dipped a little bit because they saw my gain and they're like, oh no, we got to punish him. They brought it back down. It's weird because YouTube does it a certain amount every day. And it's not like I'm really putting out videos. It's when I'm like kind of not putting out videos, which is hilarious. So make sure you're still subbed up. Early Life Check says the only people getting arrested will be crooked Hillary and the deep state. Trust the plan. Israel is the greatest ally. Military is in control. It's going to be biblical. We will see. We will see. Dragon's Treasury, yeah, I said it right there. I lost around 25 subs in 2 weeks. Yeah. A little bit more from me, but yeah, even my mods get unsubbed. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. If you guys have not seen this, there is a reason. This was during Corona. This is during the pandemic. They're going around. They've just invented the jab. They're going around in DC. And by the way, remember how they used to say that not getting the jab was a white man thing? Well, when they actually checked the facts, turns out that our beloved urban POC were actually the lowest on the chart for the jab. But this video, absolute hilariousness by the most based brother out there, freaking wrecks Tony. If you haven't seen it, you're going to need to strap in. By the way, I will say this for YouTube. Say this for YouTube before I do it. Not a doctor, not medical advice, blah, blah, blah. Go see your doctor. Okay. Disclosure done. Let's play this.
People in America are not settled with the information that's been given to us right now. So I'm not going to be lining up taking a shot or a vaccination for something that wasn't clear in the first place. And then you all create a shot in miraculous time. It takes years to create vaccination.
Okay, so this brother's spitting facts right out the gate, right? And look at their faces too. I want to rewind this here. Look at the face. They're sitting here. He's hanging on the rail. He's ready to run away. You know, the mayor is like, this is the first time somebody spoke back to her. You know, the first time someone spoke back, but it's all facts. It's like you're asking us to trust something that should take forever, that you've done in record time. This is Fauci without his mask, both literal and metaphorical. Yes, very true. So he's interacting with people with no mask. He was talking, and you'll even see there's actually in other videos of the PBS documentary and all this, he's wearing a mask in other circumstances, but here he doesn't feel like he needs to wear a mask for some reason. This brother is incredibly based.
Time. It takes years to create vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay, it used to.
You know how many years were invested in this approach? About
not that many. So he's trying to say because we've done vaccines before, we've gotten the time down. Crazy.
20 years of science to get us to be able to do it.
20 years is not enough. And 9 months is definitely not enough for nobody to be taking no vaccination that you all came up with.
The only reason I'm talking to you right now, as close as we are, is that I've been vaccinated.
Right.
But
well, no, that's not right, actually. By the way, this brother's based as hell. But here's the thing. The only reason why she's talking is because it makes her feel comfortable, right? Because that was the point at which, during the scamdemic, that they were saying that, oh yeah, you know, they were initially saying, oh, you get jabbed, therefore you're immune, you can't transmit it. And then they had to back off of that and say, that's not what the CDC says anymore. Actually, you can still get it, because then we would let everything go back to normal. We'd have back to normal air travel, no masks, all this stuff. So they had to waffle on it. They ended up waffling on it. So what she says here isn't even accurate. That's not even the science, because the science changed like a week or two later. And by the way, shout out to all the people abroad. I see a brother over here in Asia says, here in Singapore, I couldn't work for several months. Crazy. Yeah, it was crazy over here in Asia, I got to say. By the way, this Monday was the first day that we were allowed to not wear masks on buses and in planes. So finally, we can take flights and you know, be on trains and buses in the metro without wearing a mask. Even though, to be honest, half the time I wouldn't wear it anyways, and no one said shit. That being said, let's continue here.
if it allows thousands of people like you don't get vaccinated, you're going to let this virus continue to percolate in this country and in this world.
Something like the.
So he's about to bring it up. He's about to say the word, but let's be very clear here. As they established, it doesn't actually stop you from contracting anything. In fact, we saw that people, I got a brother, he's been quadruple, you know, because he's in that industry that requires you to get that jab. Still got it multiple times. So once again, yeah. So this guy brings it up. He says the F word. So guys, I'm going to warn you. He says the F word. It's a very naughty F word. Speaking of which, let me get these comments here before we see the F word drop. Gorilla Shop Stew says, Bob Johnson here. New video is up. Not as cringe as the first, but getting better. Commentary on events through a conservative blue-collar union lens. Check out Bob. He's an amazing supporter. Gorilla Shop Stew. Amazing guy. Great supporter of the channel. Super based. Check him out. Early Life Check says, Miami is cool when you're younger. Once graduated college, I had to move out and move up. Gulf Coast life now. West Coast is best coast. Hey, listen, West Coast, East Coast, wherever you're at, Florida's a lot better than the state you came from if you didn't start there in the first place.
Common flu then, right?
Oh, he dropped the F word.
It's much more serious than the flu.
Well, the flu kills a lot of people annually too.
You know how many people died of the flu the last year? I mean, not this year, virtually none, but the previous year.
Yeah. See, there you go. He said it real quick, by the way. Did you see how he said that real quick? Did you catch that? Did you catch that little reference he said there? He says, oh, not this year, This year, virtually none. Wait, how is that possible? Wait a second. How is that possible? Could it be that your tests are not accurate, and maybe they're flagging things that are actually the flu as something else, or maybe doctors are flagging things that are not the flu as the that beer bug? Whoopsie. Yeah, they stopped counting. They stopped the count. They assumed it's all the Rona. Yes, those dismissive words, that was everything there. Wait. So, I mean, it's like follow. Wait, you're telling me it disappeared, so it no longer exists? We can't find it anymore?
Here,
continue.
About 20 to 30,000. You know how many people have died from COVID-19 in the United States? 600,000 Americans.
So first of all, we all know those numbers are fucking bunk. Second of all, the way they've been doing these numbers, I said this in the beginning when I first started my channel, was talking about this. They game these fucking numbers. And I may get in trouble for this, by the way, guys, so make sure you smash a like button. But you know they game these numbers because they use for Rona, they use all-time figures. They use all-time figures, like literally since the beginning of Rona, right? With the F word, they measure year by year. By the way, I think 20 to 30 is actually low. I think there's been years that's been 60s, 70s. And certainly if you go back to Spanish flu years, well, then you're going to get millions, right? So if we want to go back to the beginning of time, the F word's going to be a lot harsher than the C word. And the fact that you measure these numbers differently is material. And honestly, it's disgusting because it's a huge misrepresentation. It's one of the biggest lies that they've spread about this.
Well, the number that you all giving that died, that's once again, that's you all's number.
You gonna pass?
Yeah, definitely.
All
Because when you start talking about paying people to get vaccinated, when you start talking about incentivizing things to get people vaccinated, it's something else going on with that. Something else going on.
It is something going on with it.
See, here you go. So she admits that the incentivization of the jab is sus, which is a hell of an admission there. It is a hell of an admission.
You're right. But I'm glad millions of people like me and most everybody here didn't get an. You know what their incentive was? Protecting their health and protecting the city. But that's what.
But here's the thing. Like, I like how she tries to dig at him. And by the way, this is a typical German Shepherd approach. She wants to get in the last word and run away. This is what she does. She wants to get in the last word and run away. That is ridiculous, especially when she's making a bad argument. And it's an even more horrible argument, an attempt to guilt trip him, right? Because at this point, what that says is that these people like Fauci have been able to bamboozle folks out of their fear for their family, because you care about your family. By the way, that's the reason that most people gave was I care about my granddad and my grandma, and I don't want to kill granddad and grandma. That's what everybody was afraid of, right? Nobody wanted to be the one who killed granddad and grandma. So trying to guilt trip him here, typical sick individual. Feminism at a peak right there.
I won't keep you anymore.
It's okay, because my y'all campaign is about fear. It's about inciting fear in people. You all attack people with fear. That's what this pandemic is. It's a fear. It's fear, this pandemic. That's all it is.
Yeah, they look at, he got just blown up. He got absolutely destroyed. By the way, he's not wearing a mask right now. How much does he believe in this right now? Look at this. Yeah,
people in America
got blown up. So anyways, that's something that we should be covering. That's something people should be looking at. And I think it's a travesty that not enough people are looking at that. And not enough people are checking that out. Got fucking wrecked, though. So shout out to my base boy there. That's some good shit. So there we go. Brick Cormier says, From and with are two different worlds. Don't be fooled by people using with to boost the from numbers. Yep. Totally different, right? Totally different. They died while they had it with, right? Versus from. Two totally different things. It's crazy. Tortilla says, very nice of the flu to take a break for a year. Oh, yeah, just took a break. Just went on spring break. Just checked out for a bit. I want to get people over here on locals, and a shout out to my locals crew over here. Lee Life with the $5 said, keep up with a great stream. Cole S. Also $5 says Trump versus DeSantis is almost entirely manufactured IMO. I don't know whether you guys think that or not. Let me put up a poll in the chat. Like, do you guys think it's manufactured? That there's something going on? I'll put up that poll. If you think it's manufactured, let me know. Think it's real, let me know. If you don't know, put up an option for you too in the chat. People saying about the Rona, so I don't know in the USA, but in the UK, they don't do an autopsy. No. Let's see. I work remote, and any job that says I must be jabbed, I laugh and say next. Yeah, I think you should do that. I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. But the fact that there's still places that are requiring that is insane. And I'm glad that countries and different cities and everyone else are backing down on that around the world as the truth is coming out. And one thing that I will say is very true is I want to thank you guys. So I want to appreciate you guys for one thing and thank everybody in the chat here for one thing. I appreciate you guys for getting my comic project, Adjudicators Academy, fully funded on Indiegogo. For any of those that are still wanting, it's still up in demand. For those who want to know about the feisty, totally not related to LawTubers and their adventure in Utopia. It's still up here, and we got fully funded. So appreciate that from all you guys. Got some preview pages out, got some updates. So if you guys want to check that out, it is still up there on Indiegogo. Going to keep that one up. And I've got some extra art that I'm getting ready beyond the perks that I'm trying to get done as well since we fully funded it. I didn't want to commit to that till we fully funded it, but I'm trying to get some extra work done. So check that project out. Really cool. Going to have some more updates as we get towards. Will 100% ship in May. Pure digital, so we can ship it and get more images, as many pages of the comic as we can get out. Should be fucking great. I'm super excited. A Dragon's Treasure says, calling literally everything manufactured is probably manufactured. This constant denial of everything you see is dumb and needs a reality check. Yeah, look, I will say this. I think there's some real issues out there. Like, for example, when I talk about Trump, like Trump has an ego, right? Everybody has an ego, right? But Trump has a really big ego. Just acknowledge that. It's okay. And I think people like that about him. They like that Trump has this big ego. They like that he has this big personality. That's why he was such a good addition to the wrestling environment, right? So he was so fucking awesome in that. But just put that out there that some things that happen are because the guy's got a massive ego. Some people love that, some people hate that, but it's real. It's very much real. Mark said, vote for anybody who put Fauci in jail. I mean, maybe we can not vote for the commies. We can leave them out. Cannon Hotep says salute. 300 blackout or AK. Shout out, brother. I want to shoot some 300 blackout with you when I'm back in the United States. That'll be fun. I got to come up to your hood or bring you down to Florida and go to the range. That'd be fun as hell. Definitely going to be doing a range day in Vegas. Also, thank you everybody who's been supporting Go East, my new channel. Appreciate y'all. And we are going to be doing, I'm going to be planning for probably either later this year or next year, some events in Asia for anybody who hasn't been out here and wants to check those out. Almost got my website up and ready to go for the channel. But check that out when you get a chance. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow streaming, probably coming at Legal Eagle. I have one that's overdue because Legal Eagle's been putting out some bad legal advice, some bad tips. So I got to come at that big bird. So I'm going to be doing that. My tomorrow morning, your evening, your today evening, Eastern Standard Time. And then I should be going on Camelot. I'm not sure whether or not Camelot is going to invite me tomorrow. He's supposed to, but he hasn't sent me a link or told me he's still down. So we're waiting on that. Got to hit him up. But look out on Locals for links to all of that. Right now, because it's still, let's see, it's 9:07. I will hop over to Locals and we'll do a Locals exclusive because I haven't done one for a while for you guys. Do a little after party. You're going to crack some drinks. And I will see you guys over on Locals. But until then, guys, take care. Stay based. And I will catch you later. Peace.